I'm Alex and this is Justin, and we've taken time out of our working lives in Sydney to travel to some of Australia's most remote and beautiful places in our modified four-wheel drive, and we're filming our adventure along the way.
Hi guys, welcome to this week's Big Laugh Essentials. We're going to talk through the things that we've learnt to leave behind. So we packed up our car, jam-packed it back last year based on people that we'd watched and what we take camping, and if there was space we put it in the car. After a couple of months we had done Tassie and kind of New South Wales, and we got to Justin's mum's and we upgraded the tent, but we also used it as a chance to empty out the car and look through what we haven't used and what's quite heavy, and therefore how can we save space and weight in the car.
So the first things we looked at and thought about and went, we just haven't used these, is the fire pit, the camp oven and the Jaffa line. So those are three items we wouldn't live without when we go away on the weekend with our mates, because when you go away it's always good to have a fire, have a few beers, cook up something in the camp oven. But when it's your everyday life, you just find you don't want to smell like smoke. A lot of places you can't have a fire, so we just looked at it and went, we haven't used it. I don't think we used fire pit at all on our trip. We used camp oven once, but on our gas hob anyway, so it was they were easy things to take out. Now the fire pit didn't take up too much space. It was one of the flat King's ones, but it weighed over 10 kilos, so 10 kilos out of the car is a good loss. And then the Jaffa line and camp oven were another couple of kilos and did take up a lot of space. So they were good, they freed up more room for other crap. Then along those lines we also had a chainsaw. Now once again we use that a lot on the weekends. When you have a fire and you're in a state forest, you cut up deadwood and use that. And if the track's got trees across it. But after getting all the way round Tassie, back up the east coast to Queensland, we hadn't used the chainsaw, so it was a bit of a no-brainer. Like, if you're going down the track and there's a tree over it, if you can't clear it with a bush saw, probably best to just turn around. So, and we really haven't had that, so we just got rid of that one. Yeah,
and they were big, bulky, heavy items.
Yeah. The chainsaw probably freed up the most amount of useful storage.
Yeah, because it's so bulky and weird.
Yeah.
But also, if you want a fire, so as Justin said, you often can't have a fire because it's fire season or they never allow it. But where it is allowed, especially in national park campgrounds, they all seem to have fire pits anyway. So if you want a fire, then you just do it if there's a fire pit there. Our next thing isn't actually that big, but we had these romantic ideas that we might go on a 2-3 day hike on the trip, so we packed our hiking tent. Realistically, we're not that energetic, we're quite lazy, and you can get to a lot of beautiful places in the car, and everything we need in the car, and most places have got great day walks, so we never used our hiking tent. We didn't see ourselves using it, so we chose to leave that behind and free up some space down the wing. Now it's obviously not that heavy, it is a hiking tent, but it's one more thing to get out of the car. Our next thing is kitchen utensils. So we packed quite a few kitchen utensils, so we've already done a video on kind of our wagon kitchen mods, and on there you'll see that we only have 2 knives, 2 forks, 1 sharp knife, etc. But we also had an extra bag full of stuff, which we had things like a masher, a spare knife, spare cutlery, and just other things that we didn't really use. They're quite bulky, they were getting in the way, so we just chose to leave them behind. You can always use something else. We do have a spare fork and knife because Justin likes to lose things. He's just lost another pair of jandals or thongs or flip-flops, whatever you want to call it. So we do have a couple of spares, but we got rid of most of those. Our next thing is not necessarily you shouldn't have one, but leave behind your big bulky camp chairs. We had these huge, really comfortable, big, heavy camp chairs, and we watched all the videos and everyone is saying use a lightweight chair, and we were like, It's our everyday chair, it's our sofa, it's everything. It's got to be comfortable. And we went out and bought these big ones from either Anaconda or BCF. But after the 2 months in Tassie and New South Wales, we were just getting bored of, they took up so much space. I mean, mine was huge and Justin's was this huge
Big
round half moon thing. Took up so much space in the car. And they're still not, it's still a camp chair. It's still only as comfortable as a camp chair can be. So we looked at these Helionox Savannah chairs. We did quite a lot of research when we were stuck during COVID last year, and we decided it was worth the money. They're only about 2 kilos or less each, and they're so small in the car, so that has freed up so much space and about 10 kilos of weight. So leave behind your big bulky camp chairs.
And also they're extremely comfortable.
Oh yeah, most people, if we have been camping a few times with family and friends, and they all end up sitting in our chairs, and it's like, excuse me, get out of our chair, because they're really comfortable. We have done a review on those. I'll put a link above if you want to see that. Our final thing is clothes. I tried so hard to not overpack, but I wanted to bring that jumper and I wanted to bring that pair of shorts, whatever. I haven't worn most of my jumpers. I wear the same things, as you can probably tell, a lot, and you're probably going to ruin, like, I wouldn't bring anything nice with you because it's going to get covered in mud. So just don't overpack on clothes, guys and girls. And that's probably it. Things to leave behind on your big lap. Hope that was helpful. Next week we're going to do a video on some storage hacks, so tune in next time. Thank you for watching.
Like and subscribe.